Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the state of Tennessee. It's in the county of Sheriff. Today's date is early Monday morning, October the 10th, 2016. First, I thank all my fans, my support for the continued encouragement and support. I continue to keep myself employed right here in the city of Memphis, in this tri-state area. I continue to further my education at Moore College online, pursuing my associate's degree, studying business administration, concentration marketing. And the music that you hear in the background, that's African hip hop. And as you know, you can go online and look at all these radio stations that you can listen to online. And on today's video, we're going to continue to talk about African traditional religion. African traditional religion is being taught in institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges, universities, in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD in African traditional religion. Where sub-Saharan Africa? Well, let's look at the map. Now, this is the language distribution map. It shows you the people that live on the continent of Africa and where they live and the language that they speak. Now, that blue color is the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color is the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color is the Niger-Congo A. And then you see the light orange color is the Niger-Congo B, the Bantu. And you see sub-Saharan Africa. Now, this is the other half of the map. And as you see on the side, it shows you the color code. It tells you that the blue color is the is the Afro-Asiatic. The blue color is the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color is the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color is the Niger-Congo A. The light orange color is the Niger-Congo B, Bantu. The green color, that is two groups of people. Two groups of people. Kwe people. They are the pastoralists. The sand people. The sand people are the hunter-gatherers. Now, over there on the island of Madagascar, that purple lavender color, it's the Austronesians. The Austronesians are the people that live in Indonesia. And the people that live in Indonesia, they migrated or left Indonesia. And they settled on the island of Madagascar and colonized the island of Madagascar. They are not the original inhabitants of the island of Madagascar. Now, this is a map that shows you the Niger-Congo language distribution. And it shows you sub-Saharan Africa. Now, the Niger-Congo languages, your primary branches are the Volta Congo, your South Volta, Bantu, Bantu beside Bantu, your other East Benue Congo, your West Benue Congo, and your Quay. And you have your North Volt, your Kru, Sanufo, your Gur, Volta languages, your Adamantway, Ubundian languages. And you have your other primary branches, your Kordofan, your Mandi, your Atlantic, and down at the bottom, that's the Dogon. When I printed this map off, a little portion of the bottom got cut off. Now this is another map of the Niger Congo. It shows you sub-Saharan Africa. Your Atlantic, Wolof, and Fule. Your Mandi, Bambare, Maliki, Mandingo, Dayule. Excuse me. Your Kru. Then you have your Gur language, also more. Your Quay, Bali, Akan, your Iwi, your Dogon, your Ajoy, your Adamantway, Ubunji, Jabaye, Banda, and Zandi. Then you have your Korofani. Then you have your non-Bantor, Yaruba, and Igbo. Then you have your Bantor, your Fang, Tiki, Lengale, Mongo and Kondu, your Congo, your Choki, your Lube, Luganda, Rwanda, Sukume, your Kikuyu. Then you have your Bantu, Swahili, Makawi, Inyanje, Bembe, Shone, Tisange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Kosa, Tiswane, Ndange, Umbundu. And there are many other Niger Congo speaking people that are not mentioned on this map. Before we get to our reading, I want to reiterate to everyone that's listening. We know that there's first we know that there's been a natural disaster that has occurred, a hurricane, and there are many people that are affected by the hurricane. There's been loss of life, loss of property, and a lot of people are in serious need of help. And now, people that are not trying to do what's right and trying to take advantage of people that are vulnerable at this time, what you shouldn't do is try to take advantage of people, period. And if you're a person that's trying to do what's right and you see that there are people who are in need of help, then try to help. But if you're one of those persons that don't want to do what's right and all you want to do is try to take advantage of people who are vulnerable, then you should not do that. And also want to reiterate about this street gang and this drug gang problem that we have here in the United States of America, in Canada, in Mexico, in Central America, South America, the Caribbean, even in Europe, and other places on this planet. We have a serious street gang problem and a drug gang problem, and just basically a gang problem. And all of us, myself, all of us who are descendants a Niger Congo, all of us whose ancestors are Niger Congo, whether we're on the continent of Africa or living outside the continent of Africa. And we know that the East African slave trade or the Arab slave trade and the West African slave or the transatlantic slave trade is one of the main reasons why many people who are descended of Niger Congo are not living on the continent of Africa. And we have a serious street gang problem and a drug gang problem that needs to be addressed, and need to get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa. There are people who are Niger Congo living here in the United States of America, living in Canada, possibly in Mexico. We know that there are people, because of the slave trade, who are living in Central America, living in South America, and living in the Caribbean, and living in Europe, and living in the Middle East, and South Asia. People who are descendants of Niger Congo. The U.S. military go all around the world. I'm a veteran of the United States military. And there are people who, because of the United States military and being in all these different countries in Southeast Asia, East Asia, intermixing with the women and having children. That's what it means, being a descendant of Niger Congo, and get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa, because we have a serious drug gang problem, a serious street gang problem, such as, for example, here in the United States of America, we have a street gang problem and a drug gang problem in Chicago, Illinois, and in Los Angeles, California. Now, we don't want nobody to assume that you're gonna get away with using the Niger Congo that live here in the United States of America or in Canada or Mexico, Central America or South America. You're not gonna use anybody. You're not gonna make a fool out of anybody. Get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa to inform them that we have a street gang problem, we have a drug gang problem, and the sorority and the fraternity are the main cause of the problems that we have with the street gang and the drug gang and the gang period. Now, we did some research online and offline. We looked up the definition of gang and gangster. We looked up the definition of the word mob and mobster. We looked up the definition of the word thug. We looked up the definition of the word goon. We looked up the definition of the word hoodlum. And we know that these are criminals. The activities are criminal. And no one should be involved in that type of activity. It's criminal and they are committing a crime. Get in contact with the Niger Congo as soon as possible to inform them about the problem that we have with the street gang and the drug gang. We're going to start our reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Awelelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Topemu. reading from chapter 7, God in the Society. And we're reading 7:3, covenant relationship. Apart from the divine element in the individual man, which draws him into the company of his fellow men and enables him to be in communion with God, his maker, there is also the element of covenant. Covenant literally means an agreement between two people, with the implication that the one who breaks the agreement will be penalized for doing so. But in the religious context, it has a deeper meaning and a more powerful binding force. With reference to this, we can speak of two kinds of covenant. The first is that which is made between man and God, or between man and the divinity. The terms of this kind of covenant are dictated by the divine, and man on his part has to accept the terms and take on himself the yoke of obedience to the divine will. This is also called suzerainty covenant because its term is unilateral. The second type of covenant is that which is made between two persons or parties who or which are on equal terms, but this may not be affected unless it has divine sanction. As a result of this, people go to the presence of a divinity to make and seal such a covenant, or they call on a divinity to bear witness to the covenant. In this way, the covenant is believed to have divine sanction. This is described as parity covenant. In both cases, there is an atmosphere of oneness and togetherness. The spirit which gave birth to man's longing for company and companionship is evident. People have a consciousness of belonging not only to the divine, but also of belonging together. The covenant constantly reminds man of his relation to God and his fellow men. It enhances the love of God and the love of one's neighbor, so that selfishness, self-centeredness, envy, prejudice, arrogance, and hatred are altogether out of the way. And this in turn gives rise to the harmony between man and between man and his maker. As a result of this, man has a sense of seeking not only his own good, but also the good of others and the community in which he lives in its totality. In effect, the total well-being of himself and the entire community is created. Thus, covenant gives meaning and cohesion to society and enhances a bond between man and God. And finally, between man and man, it is both vertical and horizontal. The vertical dimension is that which exists between God and man, while the horizontal dimension is that which exists between man and man. We'll start right there. We've been reading from 7:3, covenant relationship. And we've been reading from chapter 7, God in the Society. And we've been reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasena Amalelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Lupemu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. And we're reading from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. And we're going to be reading from belief in the ancestors. Using the phrase ancestor worship in its broadest sense as comprehending all worship of the dead, be they of the same blood or not, we reach the conclusion that ancestor worship is the root of every religion. This is how Herbert Spencer concludes a sweeping theory about the connection between what he calls ancestor worship and religion in general. As has been shown earlier, Spencer has not enunciated a new theory. He has only restated the theory with which, generally, the name of the Greek Euhemeros, who lived between 320 and 260 BC, is connected. Our concern here is not whether or not Spencer's theory is tenable, although it has now generally been exposed as untenable. We are concerned with the way in which the theory has been exploited by certain writers, especially when they are dealing with religion in Africa and other non-European areas of the world. The first question of importance is the term ancestor worship correct? That is, do people anywhere worship their ancestors? This is a question which may never be fully answered, inasmuch as we do not possess complete data with regard to the practice of man from the dawn of consciousness. It is certain that the irrational fear of the dead is not uncommon and still with us in every culture. There are people who relate their dreams, their experience of haunting, or even what they believe to be ocular evidence of the movements of, or doings of the deceased. Modern, sophisticated man may wish to laugh off the reported doing of Marley's ghost in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, or to dismiss as puerile stories of experiences of ghosts and of haunted places. But deep down in the minds of thousands of men and women of every level of spiritual or intellectual attainment is the belief, or at least the persistent notion, that the deceased still have a part to play, for better or for worse, in the lives of the living. For the purpose of practical illustration, we may mention spiritualism, which is a respectable name for man's concern and endeavor to establish communication with the deceased. Spiritualism is growing strong in the influence in Europe and America, and in spite of all that has been written to debunk it, treatises on, for instance, the faking of phenomena in the form of inflated rubber gloves or clever manipulation in such a way that there is zapping or rocking of the table, or the tricks that could be played with the knees or the elbows. There are those who keep open minds about it and will even allow that there is a certain amount of evidence to show that in certain cases and under strictly guarded conditions there is possibly some foundation of truth beneath the spiritualist claims, and there are those who are faithful devotees of it and will maintain stoutly that it is all true. Occultism in its various forms involves some amount of purported trafficking with the dead. Okay, let's see. Thus, there is a general belief that communion and communication are possible between those who are alive on earth and the deceased, and that the latter have the power to influence, help, or molest the former. We may call to mind here the popular story about the Englishman who went to place a wreath on the tomb of a deceased relative at the same time that a Chinese was putting rice on the tomb of his own deceased relative. The Englishman characteristically asked the Chinese, "My friend, when is your relative going to eat the rice that you are offering?" To which the Chinese promptly replied, "When yours is smelling your flowers." Still, the fact of the relationship between those who remain on earth and the deceased leaves our basic question unanswered. and we therefore have to search further. Should the means by which this relationship is realized be described as worship? Professor H. Farmer examines this question and concludes, the ancestor is a departed spirit who stands in peculiarly close relation to the tribe or the family. The life of the latter has been derived from him, and because he is still in existence, he is still in a sense one with it. His favor or disfavor has therefore a sharply focused relation to it and is more urgently to be sought or avoided. In addition to this, of course, is all that might be brought to the relationship by the sense of social solidarity and of kinship ties, as well as, on occasion at least, by natural affection and filial piety. The commonly used phrase ancestor worship must not mislead us here, nor be allowed to suggest a distinct religious significance in the cult of ancestors, which it does not necessarily possess. I'm going to stop right there. And we'll be reading from Belief in the Ancestors. And we'll be reading from chapter 5, The Structure of African Traditional Religion. We'll be reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a definition written by Dr. E. Balogai Adowu. We're going to continue our read from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beebe. And we read from chapter 5, The Works of God. And we're reading from D, The Governing Work of God. In this capacity, God is regarded as King, Ruler, Lord, Master, and Judge. It is generally in societies which traditionally have had kings, chiefs, or other central rulers that we find the most explicit concept of God as king and ruler. This obviously reflects the political structure of the people's concern. Though the idea of God's governing work is not confined only to peoples of this political background, the image and work of the human rulers tend to be readily projected onto the image of God. Of this, we have clear examples from many parts of Africa. The Banyarwanda and Burundi regard God as their supreme ruler and governor. When the Barusi and Balube pray, they address God as the great king who rules or reigns over all things. The Akan say that God is the ruler of the sky, earth, and underworld. Among the Indian, it is believed that God rules over all the tribes of the earth, including their own. When the Ile go hunting, they pray, addressing God as chief and pleading with him to let them kill the game which they are going to hunt. This indicates that the people consider him to rule not only in human affairs, but also over nature. The Zulu consider him to be king. Excuse me. Consider him to be king of kings or chief of chiefs, an attribute which conveys supreme authority and absolute power. There are many other peoples who speak of God in these terms of reigning or ruling over the universe. The portrait of him as king is very much colored by that of human rulers. He is pictured as supreme, absolute, rich, and the ultimate owner of all things. As king, God is also Lord and Master. He is given those titles in many societies, indicating that all respect and honor are due to him, and man's attitude to him is one of humbleness and submissiveness. To the Banyawanda, God is the master of all. To the Bambuti, he is the Lord of magic power. To the Yaruba, he is the Lord of heaven. And when lightning strikes cattle, the Zulus say that the Lord has taken his own food as Lord and Master. He is omnipotent. He can do all things, help people when in distress, accomplish what man cannot, bring about justice, and many other things. For this reason, he is referred to by various names by different people. For example, the Burundai call him the one who does all. The Balube look to him as the as, as the bearer of burdens. The Shalluk often appeal to him as the final source of help in trouble, and many others regard him as the giver of life, of rain, of light, of all things. Thus, God is pictured as the benevolent Lord and Master, and not only as an absolute ruler of the universe. As ruler, he is detached or removed from creation, but as Lord and Master, he is involved in his creation. Some societies consider their human rulers to be, in a sense, sacred representatives of God ruling over men. In his capacity as ruler and master, God is also thought to be judge. This concept includes associations of justice, punishment, and retribution. The notion of God as judge also strengthens traditional ethical sanctions, which in turn uphold community solidarity. In praying during a crisis, the Azandi declare to God that they have not stolen or coveted other people's goods, and they address him as the one who settles the differences between us who are men. For the El Guillo, lightning is God's weapon by means of which he destroys people who secretly wrong their neighbors. The Nube believe that God punishes those who contravene national traditions, since he is thought to be the guardian of the traditions. It is a firm belief among the Nuer that God punishes what is wrong and rewards what is right. For the Ovambo, rudeness to elderly people, murder, and stealing are punishable by God. In all these concrete examples, and often that could be quoted, it is shown that African peoples conceive of God as the supreme judge who acts with impartiality. I'll stop right there. been reading from D, the governing work of God. And we've been reading from number 5, the works of God. And we've been reading from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M.B. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M.B. We're reading from Part 4, God and Man. We're reading from number 16, Worship, Sacrifices, and Offerings. And we're reading from Animals and Items Used for Sacrifices and Offerings. Cattle are sacrificed as follows: by Abaluya, a Kame, male, unspotted, and of one color. Banyoro, to the divinities of plenty and the weather. Basoge, black cow, to the divinity of death and the divinity of illness. Bavende, black. Batuwe, Chaga, Dinka. The roommate, black or red. The recipient is unspecified. Edo, cow, to the king of death. Zamire Magi, cow. Gisu, barren cow. Hariro, Jai, oxen of a particular but unspecified color. Kolo, bull. Miru, black. Indabili, black. Nua, Sandawi, black oxen. Sibi, cow, presented and kept alive. Shaluk, cow. Shone, black. Tite, and Wantam Betu, white cow. Don't stop right there. Don't stop right there. And we've been reading from Animals and Items Used for Sacrifices and Offerings. And we've been reading from number 16, Worship, Sacrifices, and Offerings. And we've been reading from Part 4, God and Man. And we've been reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M.B. And again, I want to reiterate how important it is before I end today's video. Get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa. They need to be informed about the serious problem that we have with the street gang and the drug gang and just gang period. Now we looked up the definition of the word gang and gangster. We looked up the definition of the word mob and mobster. We looked up the definition of the word thug. We looked up the definition of the word goon. We looked up the definition of the word hoodlum and ruffians and just all these criminal activities that people get involved in. The Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa need to be informed. Excuse me. They need to be informed about this serious problem. Many of us whose ancestors, Niger Congo, many of us who are descendants of Niger Congo need to get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa. We know that there are people who are Niger Congo living in Europe, living in the Middle East, living in South Asia, living in Southeast Asia, and, and so on and so on, and living in Canada, living here in the United States of America, living in Mexico, living in Central and South America, living in the Caribbean. There's a serious problem with the gang. The street gang and the drug gang are a problem. The reason why they are a problem is the sorority and the fraternity. They are a gang, and they be on the college campuses, and they mislead. Many people get misled by the sorority and the fraternity. They go out there and get a degree, and they tell people that they got a degree, and that it ain't nothing wrong with being in a gang. That it ain't nothing wrong with being a thug. It ain't nothing wrong with being a goon. It ain't nothing wrong with being in the mob. That's what the sorority and the fraternity tell people who are not. Matter of fact, they tell the people in the sorority and fraternity as well as those who are not in the sorority and fraternity. So get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa to inform them about the problem that we have with the gang, the street gang and the drug gang. Here in the United States of America, for example, the street gang and the drug gang in Chicago, Illinois, they go all around the country. These people living in Chicago and in the state of Illinois, they live in various places around the country, and they influence people in a very negative way. And the street gang and the drug gang, they lie, and many of these people are members of the sorority and the fraternity. There's a street gang problem and a drug gang problem in Los Angeles, California. And the same thing, you see these people walking around with tattoos all over their body. They're wearing colors. They go around talking about they wearing red, they wearing blue. They're walking around, people in Chicago, Illinois, and people in Los Angeles, California. The street gang, the drug gang, they wear these tattoos and talking about a 5-point star and a 6-point star and 7-point stars and all this stuff. They wear hats. They'll turn their hat to the left and they'll turn their hat to the right as a way to identify membership in the street gang and the drug gang. And we were talking about the videos that the people in Chicago, Illinois be making. They be using hand signs, and the people in Los Angeles, California, do the same thing. They be using hand signs and things of that nature. Get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa to inform them about the problem that we have with the gang, with the sorority and the fraternity, misleading many people with this street gang and this drug gang. And get in contact with them directly in sub-Saharan. There are people who are Niger Congo living in America, in Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and in Europe, and the Middle East, and Southeast Asia, South Asia, so on and so on. And nobody's getting away, meaning nobody's not being punished for being disrespectful. You're not going to take advantage of the Niger Congo. You're not going to misuse the Niger Congo. Get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa and inform them about the problem that we have with the sorority and the fraternity. Misleading people about the gang, about the street gang and the drug gang. The gang, the mob, all this thug and all that goon. This stuff is evil. It's evil. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the state of Tennessee. It's in the county 7. And I thank all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. And I'm continuing to work on my entertainment, my music interest. And until my next video, you take care of yourself. And I wish each and every one of you the very best.